everybody, welcome to my channel, Spirituality with Gabriella. Today we'll be answering the question, what is my destiny? So if you're curious about what your future holds for you and also what your life purpose is, then this is a great reading for you. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of my content, please hit the subscribe button. It really does help the channel grow, so I'm super appreciative of all of you who are subscribing and following me already. Thank you so much. I love you guys. Today we are answering what is my destiny, as I mentioned. So we have three groups for you to pick from. We have group 1 here with the Peacock's ore, group 2 with the rose quartz, and group 3 with the amethyst. So please take a moment, center yourself, really ground your feet on the floor and take a few deep breaths. And not with your eyes, but with your intuition, please pick one of these three piles. And then once you're ready, we can begin your reading, and you can find your reading in the timestamps below so you can fast forward and get your own personal reading today. Without further ado, let's get started. Okay, group 1, so I've picked some cards for you guys to answer the question, what is my destiny? And here I've picked the 4 of Cups, the Knight of Wands, the Hermit, and the 8 of Cups. So before I begin and explain a little bit about these cards, what I want you guys to know is that there's a lot of themes here around looking deep within and meditating, actually. So I'm going to talk about that a lot. So just be ready, be prepared, and make sure that you focus specifically on any teachings that come through on that topic. So the first card I picked, as I said, is the 4 of Cups. The 4 of Cups is all about having opportunities and having things in your life. So you have succeeded, but it's kind of like you're not even realizing that you have them, or you're not really focusing on them. And this could be for a few reasons. Like, one potential reason is that you feel all the things that you have are kind of materialistic and they're not really feeding you on a deeper level. Another thing, though, is that it's very possible when you get this card that you're feeling quite stagnant and you're simply just not paying attention to all of the good and all of the possibilities that are in your life. So this card in particular is calling you to kind of get out of this rut that you're in. You're probably feeling a little bit like, life isn't as exciting as you want it to be, or things have maybe kind of been put on hold. And that makes perfect sense, by the way, with the situation that our world is in right now with COVID. But what it's saying to you is that you do have opportunities and you do have possibilities at your fingertips. So be grateful for those things and don't shove them away, and definitely take some time to focus on the good. The other meaning behind this card is it's a deeply spiritual card, in the sense that it wants you to look within. And this guy is super deep in concentration and he's just not really paying attention to his external surroundings. To an extent, that's perfectly okay. Like, it's a good thing to look within and meditate and kind of understand on a spiritual and emotional level where you are right now. So if you've been kind of trying to ignore that, now is the time to confront those emotions and to bring more spirituality into your life. The next card I picked for you is the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands suggests a pretty major change, because the Knight of Wands is all about movement and charging forward, and you're not taking no for an answer. You're just going to go, 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 go. So it's interesting in context of this card with the 4 of Cups, because it suggests that things are going to abruptly change for you. And it might also suggest that you are going to make a hasty decision, which will definitely put you on a different path and teach you some lessons. But just know that it is important that you kind of center yourself before making any major decisions, because you have a lot of cards here that are connected to reflection and needing to kind of do the deep inner work before you charge ahead. So it seems like you'll want to charge ahead, and you probably will, but just know that that might be for only like a certain point of time, and it might not be forever. So whether this is like a new business opportunity or a new hobby, it doesn't really matter what it is. You'll feel pulled to do this quite quickly. Next, we have the Hermit. The Hermit is, again, all about looking within. So the important thing about the Hermit is it's usually a sign that you're not yet fully embracing your inner light, and you're not yet fully understanding all that is available to you in terms of your own internal power. So you probably have all of these amazing insights, spiritual power that you're probably not harnessing yet. And so what the Hermit wants you to do is look within, take the time to meditate, take the time to focus, write down your goals, really think about who you are and what this unique period of your life is teaching you. And through that reflection process, you will come out more successful. Next card I picked for you guys is the Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups is an interesting card, especially in context with everything else that we've spoken about, because it does represent disappointment to an extent. And it's funny because the cups symbolize that you will have achieved some great things. Like if someone looks at your achievements on a piece of paper, they're going to be like, whoa, this person did so much. But you inside will feel a little bit like, is that it? Is that really all I was meant to do? And more often than not, the reason for this is because the focus has been on the external and the material and things in your environment, but not so much on within. And so it's possible that you'll be pulled into this like cool new opportunity or something that you think is really great, or maybe it's like a money-making opportunity. I'm just using this as an example, but after you've succeeded and after you've done all of that, you realize that you're still feeling kind of like spiritually empty inside. So the Eight of Cups, what it's urging you to do is to focus on things that are spiritually fulfilling and satisfying to you. That is super, super important for you specifically. So make sure that where you are in your life right now, I would take this time, and now is a good time because we're in quarantine and we're all at home. Take the time to evaluate all of the elements in your life, whether those are opportunities, friendships, relationships, hobbies that you have, the ways that you're spending your time, and understand which of these are spiritually feeding you and beneficial to you, and which of them are really not helping you in that way. And if they're not helping you, I would urge you to reconsider, how much time do you want to spend towards those things? Because if you're spending a lot of time towards those things, it's very possible that unfortunately you would end up not feeling satisfied. So group one, you are called to do some deep spiritual work, like some work that is internal and within, and that is part of your destiny. So regardless of how much you might want to focus on the external or how much people in our society focus on the external, for you, it's going to be very important to focus on the internal and focus on within. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pick some clarifying cards for you guys, and we'll get some additional insight on this reading. Okay, group one. So I've picked some clarifying cards for you guys, and they're just going to give us a little bit of additional insight into the cards that I just spoke about. So here we have the Lovers, Judgment, the Nine of Cups, and the Five of Pentacles. So I'll go through these one by one and talk a little bit about how these clarify what we spoke about just now. So the first card is the Lovers. So in context of your destiny and also the Four of Cups, the Lovers is a very positive card. So the Lovers is a card that represents partnership and it represents following your heart. So if you've been kind of struggling between many decisions or not really paying attention to the opportunities that are available to you, the Lovers calls you to really try and ground yourself and focus on your heart. Don't focus on what everybody else wants you to do, rather focus on what you want to do. And of course, make sure that it makes sense for you in terms of your financial life and your life generally speaking. But it's calling you to focus on things that you feel called to do. I mean, there's no simpler way of saying it. The other cool thing about the Lovers is that it does evidently have to do with relationships. So if I'm reading this in context with the Four of Cups, it seems to me like you have someone in your life who you might not be taking full advantage of or appreciation for, in the positive sense, of course. So you might have someone who's like a loyal partner, a stable partner, and you're not really understanding the value of that person and all of the good that they add to your life. So what I would say is, this applies to both relationships romantically and business. So regardless of where you are right now, think about the people that you have in your life and the people who are just committed by your side, supporting you, and really be grateful for those people. And now is a good time to say thank you to them and to reconsider the possibility of, getting into a deeper partnership with them. The next card is Judgment. And Judgment is all about how have you done good, how have you done bad, and now it's time for you to be judged. And being judged can be either positive or negative, totally depending on what you've put out into the universe. It signifies a time of rebirth and renewal. So if you have been suffering up until this point, like if you have an injury or an illness, it's very likely that that would change and that you would see kind of like a new light and a new phase of your life. And that's definitely likely in context of the Knight of Wands, which we talked about before. So we're seeing that there is this very rapid change that's coming for you. I would just urge you not to rush into anything, but it does seem like you'll want to rush into things. And I would just urge you to have a sound mind and have a sound heart when you make your decisions, and definitely don't only focus on the external, because it seems like you'll have a lot of like cool possibilities and opportunities, but focus on the internal and doing what is right for you. The next card we have for you is the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups is one of the best cards in the tarot deck because it symbolizes wealth, not only on a physical level, but also on an emotional, mental, spiritual level. As you can see here, this guy is pretty smug. And one thing to know is all of these 9 cups are now empty. So he's gotten to this point where he has made all of these cups through hard work and effort, probably, we think. Through a lot of commotion and movement and chaos, and he's worked really, really hard for it. But now he's also at this point where he's just like totally enjoying it. And it is a little bit like gluttony to an extent, because he had all of this stuff and he kind of decides to use the resources all at once. So I would say in context with the Hermit, which we talked about previously, seems like at this point in your life, in your destiny, you're going to be in a really good place. Like you will have made a lot of money, you will have, followed up on that business opportunity, for example, or on that relationship that you were kind of toying with before. So you are going to have a period of change in your life, which will take you out of this rut that you begin with. But it is very important that you don't just focus on material success and wealth, even if that's your inclination, and that you do look within, because looking within is what's going to get you through the long term and help you walk the long road, so to speak. So group 1, I would say that you have a lot of cool opportunities. It just seems to me like you need to take some time to also reflect, meditate, know who you are, and not just get like swept up by all of these things. The last card I picked for you guys is the Five of Pentacles. And part of the reason I've been talking a lot about looking within is the Five of Pentacles, unfortunately, is not the happiest card, but it does make sense with the Eight of Cups, which we pulled for you earlier. So what we were talking about earlier is having opportunities, and you've succeeded and you've achieved all of this stuff, but you're walking away from it. And it's similar with this card, because this card symbolizes a feeling of loss and isolation and being alone. But I want to leave you with this like quick story, and I'll have to look up the woman's name, but I was watching this show last night connected to this, and it was about this woman who raised like literally 7 figures for her real estate business, and then when the housing market crash came in 2008, she lost all of it. And she was in this place of feeling completely alone, isolated, and all of that. And she was crying on the bathroom floor, but she just had this aha moment of like, nobody else is going to pick me up except for myself. And from there, she went on to, again, make a very successful business, have a lot of money, but she had to go through this process of this crash and realizing that the way she was leading her life previously wasn't the right way for her. And since she went through all of this, she came out victorious in the end. So group one, what I would say for you is that this is a journey that you do need to go through. It is part of your destiny to have all these opportunities, kind of make quick decisions without always thinking about the pros and cons. Like, you are just probably going to run into something, but the reflection piece is super important so that it's not the case where you're turning away and you're feeling like, oh, all of that was for nothing. Instead, what we want for you is to get to this place where you feel that you've learned something on a spiritual, emotional level, as well as a external wealth level. So group one, what I would say for you guys is you have a very interesting destiny. Seems like you have a lot of cool opportunities in your future. Remember to start a practice of like meditation, looking within and listening to your heart. And if you focus on that, then I think that your destiny will be good. And if you don't, then remember there's always a judgment card. So it's really about what you put out into the universe. Best of luck, guys. Okay, group two. So let's see what your destiny holds in store for you. I've picked these 4 cards for you guys. So I have the High Priestess, the Tower, the 6 of Cups, and the Magician. So I'll quickly explain these one by one. The first card is the High Priestess. This is a super cool card. It's one of my favorites because it's all about knowledge and wisdom and insight, and really you feel like you have the power to know and be aware of everything. So in this card, she has the Torah, so she has this like very wise book and she's holding it, and it just symbolizes like balance and understanding in terms of the universe's divine knowledge and wisdom. So it's also a very spiritual card, and it suggests that you are quite good at opening up to the universe's spiritual energy and wise energy and taking those insights and applying it to whatever you're doing at this point in time and also in the future. The next card I picked for you guys is the Tower. The Tower, I was surprised to pull this one because it's quite different from the other cards I've pulled for you guys. But we are definitely going through a time of change, just globally with COVID. It is a very difficult time right now, and the Tower is indicative of feeling like your very foundations are just totally being broken up. So you might feel in your future in a very unstable position. And I hate to put it this way, but it does often mean things like going through a divorce, losing your job, not feeling like you have enough money, all of these things. And you can see that because there's a lot of chaos in the card. Like, there's people who are literally jumping out of the Tower trying to escape this chaos. What I would say about this is that, first of all, you're not alone, because as you know, it is a difficult time for many. And I mean, in the US alone, we have over 10 million people who filed for unemployment just over the last 2 weeks. But it's not a be-all, end-all kind of state. It's a state that happens at a point in time. And based on your reading, which I'll get into this in a second, you're not going to be in this place forever. So you will be facing something difficult, and of course, it's not necessarily like difficult to the extreme, but it will be something that you consider difficult, where it feels like your foundations are shaken, but you won't be here forever. And the reason that I say this is because I pulled the 6 of Cups for you guys. And the 6 of Cups is all about thinking back to your past, to a time when you were very happy and joyful and you felt more like you had a childlike nature and you just felt like the world was great and you could play and you could have fun and enjoy. So what this card symbolizes is that you will use some of that joy and happiness from your past and you can bring that into your present. Because by reflecting on those experiences, you actually are able to think more clearly about what's going on in your present. A quick note of caution with this card is that Sometimes people are like daydreaming so much that they go back to their past and they kind of just want to stay in the past and they're not thinking too much about the present. But what this card is wanting you to do is go back mentally, enjoy that time, focus on what was good from that time, and use the lessons and the renewed energy in order to breathe life into your current situation. So it seems like you have all the wisdom you need. And this experience might be very jarring for you, but through kind of going back to your wisdom and going back to those happy times, you'll actually be able to lay a new foundation, and that is what is in your destiny. So it's super important that you pay attention to this. The last card I pulled for you guys is the Magician. And I will be pulling clarifying cards, but this is the last in the first four. The Magician is an amazing card. It's all about your connection to the divine. It's about being innovative and experimental and new beginnings. So that is a big part of the reason why I said with the Tower, it's not going to last forever for you. Like, it will be painful in the moment and you will feel like things are just really shaky in that moment, but you are going to a place of new beginnings, and this is a much more positive card, especially with the Six of Cups right next to it. It's going to breathe back that childlike energy and joy into your life. So it seems like for you guys, group 2, you just need to be willing to rely on the wisdom that you have. And if you do that, then I think that you guys will be fine. But let's get a little bit more information and I'll pull some clarifying cards for you guys and see what that holds in store. Okay, group 2. So I've picked some clarifying cards for you guys. So I've picked these 4 at the top and they'll just give us some additional insight into the 4 that I just spoke about. So here we have the 8 of Pentacles, the 2 of Cups, the Queen of Cups, and the 4 of Wands. So I'll talk quickly about how these give us some additional knowledge and information. So the first card is the 8 of Pentacles. The 8 of Pentacles is a card that I quite like because it symbolizes learning and study and apprenticeship and even entrepreneurship, but it's more like the phase before you're going to take any action. It shows that you're working on things and you're really taking the time to hone your knowledge and hone your skills. So this makes perfect sense because we got the High Priestess before, and this is all about wisdom and knowledge and insight. So you might find that during this quiet time in the world of staying at home, you're taking time to take classes or to read or to really grow and expand your capabilities. And this is a card of having very little distraction. So you might be away from your family and your friends at this time, but it's okay and it's actually a good thing because during this time you're really growing as a person and you're building the knowledge and the skills that you'll need for your future. So this is a very positive card, and it shows that in your destiny you're going to be accumulating a lot of insight and knowledge that you can use. The next card I pulled for you is the 2 of Cups. The 2 of Cups is honestly a really good card. It's typically about balance and stability, and it does represent relationships. So you probably do have someone in your life who is quite a stable influence for you, or you feel that the relationship is stable. Now, the one thing I will say, which it's very hard to interpret with this combination, is the Tower is a card of shocking truths and revelations and chaos and stuff happening quickly. So I always tell the truth. It is possible that this relationship could be shaken up, or an alternative interpretation is that it's possible that something is shaken up in your life, but you will get through it because you have stability. And that might even mean, you might go through a breakup, but you might find a person who's very stable. So it's really hard to interpret this combination because for some people, it literally shows as a breakup of, a relationship that they thought was great and everything was okay, and then they find something out and it's the end. And that is possible. But for many other people, it's just that you have stability, and despite this chaotic time, you kind of get through it together. But either way, it symbolizes that there is another person involved, and you're not on this journey alone. You'll just kind of have to let it play out. The next card I picked for you guys is the Queen of Cups. So group 2, I'm not worried about you at all, even if this is a difficult situation for you financially, with your stability, with your relationship, because in the long term, you got the Queen of Cups, and you got this in conjunction with the Six of Cups. So you have a lot of cup energy going on here. The Queen of Cups is a wonderful card. It's all about balance and intuition and empathy and being someone who, more often than not, you would represent the Queen of Cups. So you would be like a feminine energy and someone who other people come to for emotional support and insight and balance. It represents a woman who's very strong in herself. So she hasn't lost herself at all, despite the fact that, things have been challenging. Rather, she's grown because of those things, and those lessons have taught her so much, and that has allowed her to come to this place that she's at today. And just to put it in context a little bit with what we talked about previously, there is also this element of nurturing and even fertility. So if you're interested in having a child, for example, or giving back to a community or to like little kids, whether it's like tutoring or actually like having your own kid or doing mentoring of some sort, this is a really good card for you, and there's a lot of good things in your future. So I would definitely say that, if you're wanting to have a family, that is in your destiny as well. The Queen of Cups is a very powerful figure. She's a figure who, she doesn't really need anyone else, but rather she would invite other people into her life because she feels that they complement her. But she by herself is strong and powerful and still an empathetic and beautiful figure. So I feel very positive about you guys having this card in your deck. The last card that I pulled for you guys is the Four of Wands. And I mentioned previously that I was not at all concerned about your future. Group 2, the Four of Wands is like one of the best cards in the tarot deck. It symbolizes complete and utter happiness, joy, really reaping what you've sown. So if you've spent a lot of time working and growing yourself and your knowledge, then it's totally going to pay off, because not only are you going to gain this independence and this focus, but you're also going to gain the rewards. So you will probably be quite financially stable in the end, and you'll have quite a happy family. It also symbolizes just having a really good family life. So as I mentioned, if you're interested in having kids in the future, then definitely that's in store for you, and there's definitely a lot of happiness to come. It also is, it's very nice in terms of this pairing with the Magician. So the Magician is about the connection to the divine, to innovation, to, again, it's like the world is at his fingertips because he's already kind of done the hard work and his channel is open, so to speak. So you will be at a place, and all of this is shown in your destiny, where you're just going to be celebrating, and you'll be at this place where, you were working super hard in the past, but you won't have to always be pushing so hard anymore. Rather, you'll be able to celebrate, and you'll be able to still get these beautiful divine messages that are in store for you. So group 2, I would say that your destiny looks really positive, and there's a lot of great things that are going to be in your future. Just remember to work hard, and even if now feels like a quiet time, like you're not able to see family and friends and stuff as much, definitely channel it towards your learning, because it's going to pay off in the long run, and you will get to this point eventually of complete independence and celebration. So congratulations! Okay, group 3, so let's see what your destiny holds in store for you. So I've picked 4 cards for you guys, and we'll go through them quickly. Here we have the Ten of Wands, Justice, the World, and the Page of Wands. So let's figure out what your destiny holds. The first card is the Ten of Wands. And what this tells me, group 3, is that you guys are working really, really, really hard. Definitely, it might feel like you are holding a heavy weight and you have a lot of things in your life and it might feel like you're kind of always struggling to keep up. But the good thing is that, as you can see in this card, you are holding everything together. And as crazy and as chaotic as things may seem, you are taking the long but difficult walk back home. That's what this card shows. This guy has literally collected all of these wands and somehow he's able to keep them balanced, and he's taking the long walk back home, and it is a struggle because he's having to put so much effort and energy into it, but he's doing it, and that's the most important thing, that you are accomplishing what it is you have your dreams on or what you're set out to do. So one thing that this card does call you to do is just reevaluate all the things that you have going on in your life and really think about, do all of these things serve me? And are there certain things where I should not be doing this, or I should eliminate this, or perhaps even delegate this? Because you could probably, delegate some of these things and you don't want to tire yourself out. So this card is just calling you to make sure that you don't exhaust yourself, but it is also saying that you are doing a remarkable job of just juggling so much stuff and carrying the weight of all the stuff that you're carrying. So props to you, group 3. The next card I pulled for you guys is Justice. Justice is an interesting card because it does often represent legal issues and situations, but not always. Overall, what it means is it's really about the law of karma. So if you put out good things will come back to you. If you put out bad things will come back to you. And that's just that's the hidden knowledge of the universe, and that's how the universe works. So it is possible that you will be in some kind of, not necessarily a dispute, but just kind of a situation where if you've been acting well, that will pay off. If you've been acting poorly, then that will come back to you as well. It seems like something like that is going to come up for you. I wouldn't be too concerned about it. I think it's just a passing thing. But definitely, if there's anything legal coming into your mailbox, letters, emails, stuff like that, especially in the time we're in now, things are changing for a lot of people. Jobs are changing, homes are changing, locations even. I would definitely don't ignore that stuff because it is important that you attend to it. And I would say just attend to it with a stable mind and a logical head as much as you can, and it should be okay. And the next card I pulled for you is the World. And the reason that I do feel confident in saying that is that the World is an amazing card. It's a card of wishes fulfilled. It's a card of celebration, of winning, of literally actually having the world at your fingertips. So I know now is not the right time to travel, now in 2020, but it does symbolize that you have a lot of different cool influences at your fingertips, and that you might actually be traveling a lot in the future. So that is part of your destiny, and it is part of your destiny to end up very happy. So the World is definitely a good card of celebration and feeling like, everything that you've been doing has paid off. So congratulations on that, because you've been working really hard, and it seems like you will go through some things where justice will come to you, but I think it will be in a positive way because the World is very positive. And then lastly, we have the Page of Wands. And the Page of Wands is also quite a nice card. It is funny in context of these because the World is kind of about completion in a sense, and so is the Ten of Wands. Like, the Ten of Wands symbolizes the end of a struggle. So if you've been working 24/7, it feels like this is going to finally come to an end and you will be successful because of it. And the Page of Wands symbolizes more like a new beginning, and more, it even symbolizes some kind of childlike wonder and not really knowing everything, but still being very curious and very open and very innovative. Like, the Page of Wands is a good card for people that want to start their own businesses or want to go on a new path of learning, like maybe you want a career change, whatever it is, you are embarking on something new and you're doing this with a lot of passion and a lot of energy. You're trying your hardest, and the fact that you're trying so hard is great. The one thing about the Page of Wands to just be aware of is that your idea is not tested yet. So it hasn't come to fruition and you don't even know if it's necessarily going to work. But I would say that because you have the enthusiasm for the idea, that means that you do genuinely love it. And if you genuinely love something, normally it pays off. We'll get a little bit of additional clarification in the next round of cards that I pull for you guys. But yeah, I would say that this is very positive. You know, you are working quite hard, but it's going to pay off and you will also be able to start laying new foundations for yourself. So group 3, I'm going to pull some clarifying cards for you guys now and get some additional insight on these. Okay, group 3, so I've picked some clarifying cards for you guys, and they're right here. And I usually pick 4, but this time I actually picked 5 because I had 2 that clumped together, which means that they want to be seen by you. So I'll go through these and I'll give you a little bit of additional information on the cards we spoke about just now. So here we have the 6 of Wands, the 3 of Pentacles, the 6 of Swords, the Moon, and Death. So I'll go through these for you guys quickly. So the first card is the 6 of Wands. The 6 of Wands is a wonderful card. I mentioned that when you get the 10 of Wands, it's kind of like you're at the end of a difficult period and you're at the end of a struggle. Well, the 6 of Wands is all about celebration and about hard work paying off. You might get a lot of recognition for what you've been working so hard on, so it is possible that you would get a promotion, get publicly recognized, be seen as a figure who's like a pioneer in your industry. So I would say this is a really positive card. Yeah, it also means that all of the hard work has been totally worth it, so that's great. Now, to clarify justice, I pulled 2 cards for you guys. The first is the 3 of Pentacles. The 3 of Pentacles is all about planning and execution. So what you can see here is they're actually like architects, like they're building this pillar, and here this guy seems to be giving a report to his fellow workers and he's saying like, okay, we've completed phase 1. Like that's kind of where they are in this card. So for you, what this shows is that you will have to continue your studies and skills. It doesn't necessarily mean going to school per se, but it does mean just making sure that you dedicate time to growing yourself as a person and as a professional, and that time will be super important. And with justice, again, remember, it's all about the karma. So if you put good things out, they'll come back to you. So if you're working hard, and I know that you're able to do that because we already got this card, the 10 of Wands, then good things will come back to you. I also got the 6 of Swords for you guys. The 6 of Swords can look a little bit scary upon first glance, but actually it's quite positive in the sense that it means that if you're in a difficult place right now, you're coming away from that difficulty. And again, I kind of alluded to this previously, like you will get to this point of celebration and happiness, which we see here, but it will take some work. So in this card, the guy is rowing and he's going over these kind of choppy waters, and there have been influences in his past that have seemed kind of difficult or maybe even negative, but he's going to a better place, a more peaceful place, and a place where he can really reap the rewards of what he's sown. So it will take time. This isn't an overnight thing. And again, be very cognizant of your actions during this time because this is a journey, and what your destiny holds for you is really, it's as simple as focusing on your karma. So if you have good karma, then I would say you have a good destiny. The next card I picked for you guys is the Moon. And the Moon is an interesting card, especially in context with the world. It's kind of an unnatural pairing, actually. So the moon does symbolize intuition and trying to listen to your intuition, but it can also represent anxiety and fear. So, how I would interpret this is that you have things to be celebratory about, but you might be kind of feeling like not everything is done yet, or you might not be totally appreciating what you have. So, that is one interpretation, that it's possible that for some reason you feel like still fearful or anxious about stuff that's happening in your life when you don't necessarily need to be. Another interpretation, and I have to leave it to you to be the person to decide which category you fall into, is that you are kind of oblivious to hardship or things that still need to be worked on. And remember, all these cards show that you are going to have to work and it is a process. And instead of acknowledging those things, you are like, yeah, everything's great and I'm successful. And actually, there's still things that need to be attended to, and you need to make sure that you attend to those things. So, what I would say is it's nothing to freak out about or be nervous about, but it does mean that, make sure that you're working hard and that you're not letting things slip kind of or go under the rug. It's super important that you keep everything in your sight and keep everything in your focus and just keep pushing because you're good at that. And I'm hopeful for you that you won't have to be working like crazy, which you have been previously, but that you'll get to a point where you'll kind of let your anxiety calm and balance yourself so that you can celebrate the joys of what you do have, and you can still focus on nurturing things that haven't really come to like full fruition yet. So that's what I would say about those cards. And then the last card I pulled for you guys is Death. And Death is a card of new beginnings. So I know the connotation of death can sometimes freak people out, but there's no need to be frightened because this guy, I think I've said this in previous readings, he's wearing armor. So he is prepared to go into the future and he's ready to fight and he's ready for whatever comes to him. And this makes perfect sense with the Page of Wands, which is all about new beginnings and wanting to embark on something new and different and having these kind of entrepreneurial feelings and thoughts. So what I would say for you, Group 3, is that you are going to go through quite a interesting journey. I would say most probably with your career. This is kind of the vibes that I'm getting because it seems like there's a lot of study and focus that's required of you. But there's definitely going to be like these super great celebrations along the way that will pick you up and that will make you still motivated. And through this journey, through this exploration and study process, you will also eventually want to turn over a new leaf and start something new and close the chapter that you are probably in right now and kind of start a new chapter. So pretty excited for you guys. I think that it will be good. Just remember to practice the laws of karma. So put out good things. Good things will come back to you. Be an honest person, be committed, be trustworthy, be loyal. And if you are all of those things, then I would say, Group 3, your destiny looks pretty good. All right, good luck, guys. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching today. I really appreciate you tuning in to learn a little bit more about your destiny and what your future holds for you. So remember, if you like my content, please give me a thumbs up. And I would really, really appreciate it if you also subscribe to my channel. It makes me even more motivated to do more pick a card readings for you guys. I really do care about sharing the universe's divine knowledge and blessings with you so that you can lead a life of clarity and purpose. So I hope you guys have a great day and a great week ahead. And if you have any questions, then definitely please post them in the comments below. And if you have any topics that you want to see in the future, please also just write some comments in. I make sure to respond to all of those. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.